Okay, how to set up for pen and ink and how to use your pen. Here we go. Here's your ink. Here's your pen. This is called the pen nib, or the actual pen. This is called the pen handle. If you didn't notice, these are actually in two parts. The handle lasts a lot longer than the pen nib itself, that's NIB, because as we're adding different amounts of pressure, it can get to the point where we're not adding any pressure at all, and our pen creates a V shape like this. If you pick up a pen from the metal container that has a V shape like this, you can give yourself a brand new pen. If it's just not working correctly, call me over and I'll troubleshoot. But if you pick up your pen and the end is split, please help yourself to a new pen nib. They're in the short table. Speedball makes them. You can grab a new one right out. Take the pen that is split, this one is not, but just to demonstrate, and give yourself a new pen. And so the curved section goes in here. Okay. Now, as you're using your pen, please have your ink set on the flat part of your table. Matter of fact, once your drawing's done, once your pencil drawing is done, feel free to lower your table, or you can ask me for help if you have a table that's difficult, and make sure this is on a flat surface, not on a tilted surface. We don't want it spilling on your clothing. Believe it or not, even though our school paper towels, even though they're kind of like raincoat material, they're not very absorbent, they do save clothes. They save messes. So something would happen, even though this pen is ink is bottom heavy, if you spill or drip, the paper towel will absorb it first. Most important thing to me, believe it or not, is it's art. You should have fun with it, not be stressed about the material, like getting on the table. If you get on the table, please try to wipe it off with a damp paper towel. If anything is left, that's my job at the end of the day, okay? So whatever, okay? So don't worry about it. The key is, if we get ink on the floor, please either let me know or try clean it up right away. I'll help you clean it up, because we don't want to track it. We don't want to like get it everywhere. Or what if somebody has pants that are like really long and they kind of like the swishy pants, or like, you know, I don't want anyone to get it on their pants if their pants go beyond their shoes. Fun thing, dip it. If you're thinking you're running low in ink, you could just help yourself to a new bottle, okay? And just try to make some different kinds of lines. You shouldn't have to press real hard. How do you hold the pen? Take the scoop and have that facing down. So it's hard to see on the video, but if your pen should be this, where the shape of a spoon, the inside of the spoon should be down, or the curve down and not facing up like that. Yeah, the tables are like guillotines. So just kind of get comfortable with it. You really don't want to put your pen down all the way to the bottom of your ink, because what will happen is it could flood it. You only want to go about halfway down. Yes?
How do I do this?
Grab a new one, and usually they just pull off. The question was, how do you take the nib off? And they just usually pull off. If it's not pulling off, leave it here. I'll do it with pliers, and grab a new pen, please. And Ryan, do you have a question?
Yeah, how deep do you dip it?
Okay.
What's the point of the dropper?
What's what?
Mine has like a dropper on the top.
Oh, okay. So the question is, how deep do you dip it, and what's the point of this dropper? So you dip the pen about this deep, anywhere in here. You don't want to dip it all the way up to here because then it will get flooded and unless you're trying to go for that and see the possibilities, which you're allowed to do, but I don't want anyone getting disappointed if it gets all over their artwork. So general rule is to keep it here. The dropper, really fun. When you finish your drawing, if you would like, you can take some of the ink, suck it up into the dropper, and put it into a palette, like a plastic palette that has little cups in it, and make different darknesses, almost like you would watercolor, and then you can use this dropper to also add water to dilute and do all kinds of like gray scales, just like you would do with watercolor. So the for the purposes of this assignment, that's not a requirement. If anyone's done early, I'll encourage you to experiment, and you know, and try some stuff.
Are we going on a pumpkin? Doing it on a pumpkin, or are we doing line elsewhere?
If you look at the rubric, you can do anything beyond what's on the rubric. So I would make sure that you just have a full range of values on your pumpkin with pen and ink, and line design, stippling, and cross-hatching. But if you wanted to, say you have an area of your pumpkin that is a step 6 and you want to like break out into like a line design off to the side of it or do something creative with it, as long as you have accomplished what's on the rubric, I encourage you to like do something creative, you know, mainly in what would happen in the negative space, like or in the outside, in the background, or
My like nib just fell off. Should I put it back on again?
Bring it to me. Okay. So when the nib comes out, if it fell out, it means the person before you just didn't do a great job putting it in. So you want to wipe it off so you don't get it all over yourself, and then really press it back on. There you go. Now that's not going to fall out, so you're good. So how does this translate, you're welcome, to your pumpkin? I've started this pumpkin in stippling, okay, after practicing some different lines. What you're going to do, big rule, is neighboring ribs can't have the same value next to each other. So for instance, if I took this stipple, this same number value, and just kind of continued it across my pumpkin, I would lose the rib, right, in the drawing. That's basically the only difference between pumpkin and cylinder. Think of a bunch of cylinders right up next to each other, okay? You would want to see the difference between one cylinder and another. So you wouldn't want to have two cylinders next to each other with the same value on the two sides that are touching. So this helps us avoid that. Okay. So I'm going to dip, scoop part facing down. I'm going to take a look at my pumpkin, and I'll work over here. I noticed there's a step 1. Feel free, if you want to start, you know, make little circles with and write in some different steps. Rule of thumb, for everybody, the light is coming from up above for most of us. So our step 1s are going to be up here. If you wanted to be real light-handed with this and work from the bottom up or the side over, like darker and then lighter, as long as your ribs aren't competing, you can do that. Assessment. I'm not going to get in your seat, find your pumpkin, and take it out and set it up exactly the way it is when you drew it. I'm going to look like for a believable 3-dimensional pumpkin in pen and ink. So, you can replicate exactly what you can see in front of you, or you can fake it. The only thing is, you're really going to want to make sure that your cast shadow makes sense when you get to the cast shadow. I have boards and white paper for under your pumpkin when you're ready for the cast shadow, but for now let's just concentrate on experimenting on one of your pumpkin drawings. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's wrap up this video. For a completed stipple image, check out Canvas. Thank you.